happening? Justice. You know the basic idea. Once we want to study Aristotle, begin with Plato. So we are literally repeating Plato time and again. Plato said that balance is important. Balance resides in the nature. And there is a balance in human body. If there is a balance in human body, there is a balance in nature. Because justice simply means what Plato said that. Plato very interestingly said that justice, I am reminding you again, justice is the idea of a harmony. Justice is giving everybody his due. If somebody is intelligent, so give him a proper place in community. If somebody is courageous, allow him to become a soldier. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, if you are not allowing courageous person to become soldier, he might become like a terrorist, Maoist. It means if somebody are diverting from society, it means they could not given their proper place in society. हमेशा आप याद रखो. If a very genius person, you are not providing place that person in the normal society, so they can disturb the entire community. Credit goes to society. इसलिए आप देखोगे whosoever लॉरेंस बिश्नोई सोचे इतना अच्छा आईपीएस ऑफिसर होता. आईपीएस नहीं बनाया तो हमने देखो अब पुलिस उसके पीछे पड़ी हुई है. Imbalance, example of imbalance society. Therefore, if some people are rich, too many are poor, imbalance. This kind of harmony and balance should be there in the community right from. This harmony exists in nature. This harmony exists in human body, and therefore this harmony should exist in a society. देखो, this harmony exists in nature. जरा सोच के देखो, if there is a climate change, it means some sort of imbalance is going on in the nature. And that is the point as of now, a new idea, environmental justice. Justice, feminist justice, environmental justice, everything related with justice. And even last year, students were raising the placards, we want justice, we want justice. Everybody is looking for justice. Everybody is demanding for justice. So that let's see, there is justice in nature. तभी तो आप देखोगे there. Let's see, even plantation is important. Let's see the balance. Even glaciers are important, rivers are important, oceans are important. What a finest balance exists in nature. We are not knowing that. So because of our greed, because of our allurement, we are excessively exploiting the natural resources. That is, we are the cause of the, as of now, which is happening in the imbalance in the nature. Who is the root cause behind that? The greed of human nature. That is the entire idea of ecological philosophy, ecological justice, environmental justice. Therefore, nature is there for providing the basic need for the human being, or everybody is allowed to exploit the nature. Second, there is the balance in human body. आपने कभी देखा है ईयर का साइज इतना होता है, नोज का साइज इतना होता है, हाथ का साइज ऐसा होता है. Even that is very balanced that exists in our human body. कभी आपने ध्यान दिया जितने ऑर्गन्स हैं क्यों इतने ही साइज के हैं? बैलेंस. और कभी क्या होता है बीपी शुगर जैसे इम्बैलेंस होता है तो पूरी बॉडी गड़बड़ होती है. एंड देन दिस बैलेंस शुड बी इन सोसाइटी टू. जैसे मान लो किसी को ज़्यादा जो डायबिटिक हो गया, किसी को ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आ गई. सिमिलरली इफ somebody is rich, somebody is poor. This also tells about a imbalance in a society. So Plato said that there must be balance. But how? What is the mechanism to make that balance? For Plato, this balance should be obtained through morality. This balance should be obtained through duty. This balance should be obtained through reason. Let's see. For Plato, this balance obtained through education. It means Plato was not considering law and punishment as a mechanism to make a balanced society. That's very interesting. As of now, what is the mechanism to make a balanced society? Law. And Plato said that Law is not a panacea for every problem in community. What is most important form of law? Reason of a philosopher king. What is most important? Reason. If a person who is ruling over the community, and that is a philosopher king for Plato, if philosopher king is having reason, so automatically, if there is a reason on the top, therefore society will be not infected with the corruption, externalism, because everything is coming from top to bottom. If a person who is heading the government, he or she is a corrupt, then how we can imagine the corruption, honesty at the bottom? Therefore, society must be governed through reason, a philosopher king, and thereafter, it is duty of every individual that they should work according to the basic character of their soul. If somebody is having reason, they should become ruler. Somebody is having the amount, quality of courage, they should become soldier. And if somebody is having dominant element of appetite, they should work for the production. Obviously, if how we can make a balance through morality, through virtue, everybody must know their the quality of soul. Everybody should perform their duty, and all three classes should engage in a function which is allocated for them. That is the basic idea of justice. So obviously there will be balance, harmony, and that is reason what Plato says that balance is there in everywhere in community. That will be the best society, best community. This is Platonic idea, which again I'm summarizing in a short. But why there is a problem? For Aristotle, you know that, is it possible? Can you give me an example of any society where we are making balance in society only through the morality? Give me an example. It means Plato want to make a just society literally without government. Because as of now, what is government? Although he is saying philosopher king, but no law, no punishment, no police, no judiciary. Literally, there is a no lawmaker, no parliament. Therefore, literally, he want to make a just society without state and government. Can you spot any community as of now in the world which is the having justice without government, without law, without punishment? Answer very simple: no. Don't you think that entire idea Plato again there is romantic, radical? Entire idea Plato is radical, romantic, because just society means a communist society. Just society means rule by philosopher king. So the question is that how we are supposed to make every individual moral, how we are going to remind that everybody should follow their duty. Is it possible? This is a wild goose chase, very difficult task. Mahatma Gandhi could not make a people moral. Mother Teresa was failed. Even Jesus was crucified. How we can forget the fact that so many prophets, they were chased away by the people. And now we are considering that everybody will become moral. Therefore, let's talk about some pragmatism. Again, Aristotle is coming on pragmatism, because the basic idea of Aristotle also same. Justice means having a balance in society. Justice means having a proportion society. But how Aristotle is discovering some new means, that's interesting. You know, the time and again, because purpose of Plato and Aristotle is same. What was the basic character of human being? Virtuous moral life. Therefore, Aristotle begins like a Plato. What is the basic meaning of justice for Aristotle? Virtue in action is justice. What is the meaning of justice for Aristotle? Virtue in action is justice. Very simple. Living a moral life, virtuous life. Virtue in mind or virtue in action? Virtue in intelligence or virtue of a conduct? That is the point. Virtue should not be only in the mind. Virtue should not be only in form of knowledge, but that should come in the practice. If everybody is honest, very simple. What is the logic of Aristotle? if everybody become like Mahatma Gandhi, so there is no probability of conflict in society. If no probability of conflict, no law. Because if no conflict, no police. No conflict, no judiciary. Because entire idea of government comes into existence because of basic and simple premise that conflict is essence of a society. That is a modern idea that there must be conflict. And if there is a conflict, we must have a conflict resolution mechanism. And what is the name of that conflict resolution mechanism? Other name of a government. Other name of government. Therefore, virtue in action is justice. Just human being. If there is just human being, everybody is following their duty, everybody is having the wisdom, reason, they will not encroach in the life of others. See why imbalance happens in society? If I am encroaching in the life of others, if I am grabbing property of others, that is injustice. In case nobody is grabbing property, nobody is encroaching into life of others, there is no reason to believe that there can't be justice without law, without punishment. So Aristotle is beginning with idea Plato every time. That is the reason, even if you look at the idea of Aristotle, it is a rebirth of Plato. Time and again he is remembering his master. But you know that Plato was a merely philosopher, believe in metaphysics, only knowing one method of knowledge. But Aristotle was empirical, pragmatic, influenced by biology. So he was a keen observer what is happening in present society. So he knew that the people like gangsters are also there. So the question is that Aristotle is saying that everybody should become virtuous. I'm assuming that my students are virtuous. There is no doubt about that. But you are not a sample of entire society. So how I can disregard the people who are lodged behind Tihar? They are more virtuous. Why there is a need of a Tihar jail? Why there is a need of a police? Why there is a need of a CRPF? And why continuously Delhi police is patrolling overnight? Simple fact is that there is a crime in society. There is a corruption in society. People are not abiding by their duty. People are indulged in some unethical activities. Therefore, whether we should teach them morality, education. So let's open a school in Tihar jail and teach them the morality. I taught you Plato, I will send you in Tihar. And just to give lecture to these inmates that do not indulge in the unethical means. Now be a good human being. You are a soul. Is it can you communicate this message of morality to them? So many preachers are there in India. So many preachers are there. Or one thing is very interesting. Once I was attending the preaching of Nirankari Baba. तो निरंकारी बाबा preaching कर रहे थे ऐसे कि बीड़ी नहीं पीना चाहिए, smoking is injurious to health. Just away from the tent, एक ताऊ जी निकले थे, बीड़ी पी रहे थे. ताऊ, बाबा is saying that smoking is injurious. क्या बाबा की बात टेंट के अंदर, बाहर नहीं. This is nature of human being. अरे मेरे बच्चों कैसे हम कर लेंगे भाई? That is the point. Therefore, Aristotle is saying, yes, we need a kind of a corrective justice. We also need a kind of a justice which maintains behavior among the people, and that is the idea of a particular justice. Particular justice means how I should treat with the criminal, how I should treat with the people who are indulging in the unethical practices. Therefore, particular form of justice simply means virtue in action is a substantive idea of justice. Substantive means holistic. Substantive means broader idea of justice. Virtue in action is a substantive idea of justice, holistic idea of justice, moral idea of justice. Particular idea of justice simply means justice related to have a relation between individual and next is X and Y. Therefore, if one person is having conflict with other, how I can resettle that conflict, that is a particular meaning of justice. And that is demanded in society, because we can't assume that everybody will become moral ethical. Therefore, whosoever is not abiding with law, whosoever is going against law, they must be penalized. And that is the idea of a corrective justice. What is a corrective justice? This is known as a legal justice as of now. And we know that corrective justice involves rule of law. And corrective justice involves a kind of washing the people. Therefore, Tihar jail is a kind of washing machine. That is important for correcting the behavior of people. Just like हमारी कार क्या जाती है, हमारी कार गैराज में जाती है. So many people, they are also sent in a garage from time to time. So Tihar jail is also garage for correcting the behavior who are indulging in the anti-social activities. They will be penalized. They will be given penalty. No moral preaching to them, because they don't understand the moral preaching. Therefore, this is the one meaning of a justice that is known as a corrective justice. That involve automatic law and obviously regulating agency like police. If there is a law, there is a police. If there is a law, there is a judge. There is a modern idea of justice. Second, but merely penalizing the people is not enough. Therefore, particular justice is also related to the distribution of social goods. Merely penalizing the people, merely providing punishment cannot make a society just and balanced. Because if you are ignoring the disparity which exists in society, or a problem exists in society, therefore, the second dimension of a particular justice is the first dimension of particular justice is a corrective justice. Second dimension of a particular justice is a distributive justice. So do not preach for the be moral, act morally. There is an art of a distribution, and as of now too, justice has always with the quality of a distribution. What you want to distribute? Bharat Ratna, Padma Shri, or rice, wheat? What kind of distribution we are looking for? Therefore, justice should be distribution of the offices. Justice should be distribution of offices. Distribution of the responsibility in society, duty in society. That is the distribution. And thereafter, can slave be distributed political office? Only master are allowed to have a political office. That is a distributive justice for the Aristotle. And who is given the art of service or task of service? Slaves. Slaves are given to serve the society. That is justice. Even slaves are here to serve the people, serve the family. That is justice. And now even so many people can criticize because females are occupying the subordinate position than male. That is the reason time and again I said that Aristotle appears as a conservative. Therefore, what is the particular justice? Everybody is getting their due. Getting everybody, if we are providing everybody due, that is justice. Therefore, Aristotelian justice somehow justifying inequality or equality. You know that inequality because master will get the judicial offices, political offices, because for Aristotle, who are citizens only masters. Women will not hold the political offices, and he said that is justice. Slaves are not allowed to hold the political offices. This is justice. Children automatically are barred to participate in the political activity. That is justice. Therefore, his justice is somehow justifying inequality, elitism. And you know that distribution is a quality of justice as of now too. But Aristotelian distribution is in a favor of a efficient, rich. Present distribution is in favor of a poor. And that is the idea of Rawls. Although ethically, morally, Rawls is different to Aristotle. Rawlsian ethics is based on Kantian ethics, where dignity of every individual is important. Every individual, dignity. Aristotle doesn't believe in that. For Aristotle, individual is not unit. Community is more important. Family, village, state. Therefore, ethical idea of Aristotle believe in the Nicomachean ethics, ethical relativism. This is the idea of ethical relativism. Ethical relativism means for slave, yardstick of ethics chain. For woman, idea of ethics chain. For master, idea of ethics change. But very interestingly, but for Rawls, whether it is a male, female, person from any caste, color, everybody is having the dignity, and their dignity must be respected. Their dignity must be respected. That is the ethical point of view of Rawls. That is the ethical viewpoint of Rawls. And moreover, that is on the same account, Rawls want to distribute the social goods in favor of marginalized section of society. That I will tell you separately in John Rawls. Rawls also look for distribution, but Rawls want to distribute in favor of a least advantaged section of society. In a layman terms, below poverty line. In a ordinary terms, he want to distribute the things for the marginalized section of society, deprived section of society. Aristotle is not worried for that. That is the point. Distribution is okay. But what is yardstick of distribution? Need or capability? If we are distributing goods on the basis of capability, this becomes the capitalist justice. Logic. Theory of entitlement. If we want to distribute that Virat Kohli should get a better house, Virat Kohli is entitled to have a marvelous house. Obviously, we are also distributing on the basis of capability because Virat Kohli is a genius. Even he is a efficient, hard-working person. But how we can forget the rickshaw puller? Therefore, if we are distributing the goods in the interest of a needy rickshaw puller, marginalized, slum dwellers, that is a Rawlsian idea of justice, inclusive justice. Rawls is not against the Virat Kohli. Rawls is not against any industrialist. He said that we are not going to have a discrimination with industrialist. But as far as basic goods are concerned, that will be given to the most marginalized sections of society. So which kind of justice is more appropriate as of now in present society? Rawlsian or Aristotelian? And you know that I will again repeat Rawls. While studying Rawls, we will compare to Aristotle. While studying Aristotle, we have to read with Rawls. Repetition. Theory and thinker is a totally repetition. Very much connected with each other. And that is the idea of a distributive justice. So justice has always been the art of distribution. Although once we have to read out Amar Sen, he is having some different viewpoint. Either distribution or enhancing capability. So that has been the debatable point. But you can note down few points.